from Glenn Sonmore during the season, and he is really a player who didn't play with a lot of emotion. And I'll tell you something, who knows what will happen next week when the playoffs begin here, but you can't get a more charged atmosphere than this.
If this doesn't put a chill down the back of your spine and there's something wrong with you, you have no emotion. Never have I heard a crowd give such an ovation. In a beginning of a hockey game like this, the Blackhawks, if you're feeling down and low, you're going to be pumped up and ready to go on that first shift.
Well, we're very much ready to go. The rookie coach of the Hawks, who has led them to a 100-point season for the first time since the 73-74 campaign. Well, there have been few NHL seasons here in the Windy City like this historic 82-83 season. And it's come down now to the final 3 games. Tonight here, the Hawks and the North Stars. Saturday night, the Hawks at St. Louis, probably their first-round playoff foe. And then it'll all conclude here Sunday night with the Blues and the Blackhawks. Now, the national anthem from the stadium.
The veteran, 32-year-old goaltender from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, probably wouldn't be playing if this was for first place because Beaupre has been the stopper in the last 3 contests between these 2 hockey teams. And there's Murray Bannerman. Look at his tremendous record. The Blackhawks, with the only tandem in goaltending with both of them, have over 20 victories.
And a discussion already at center ice. The 2 captains, Craig Hartsburg of the North Stars, Daryl Sutter of the Blackhawks, with the veteran referee Bruce Hood. It was Brian Lewis, another veteran referee from the NHL, who was in charge of things and almost had it get out of hand 9 nights ago in Minnesota.
Oh, I'm sure he just wants to warn them that he's going to be calling everything and he will not stand for any nonsense. As I mentioned earlier, whenever you come off a game such as the 7th game between these 2 teams where we had a 50-minute brawl, oftentimes we have hardly any penalties called at all in the hockey game because there's tremendous respect on both parts.
Well, fasten your seatbelts. We've left the runway. We're in the air and ready to fly high. Roberts knocks down the initial shot. Bob Murray at try wide. The puck behind the Minnesota net. Tony Roberts plays it up to Flett, and his pass comes to center ice. McCarthy plays it to Neil Brodney. Backhands it through the goalmouth area. Maxwell sweeps it behind the net. Trying to center and getting it in front is McCarthy, and the shot, the save by Murray Bannerman.
Going to be a physical game. The Blackhawks coming out with a couple of good checks right off the bat. Secord a good hard check on Roberts in the corner. And the tiny Dennis Savard throwing his weight on against Willie Flett.
And the first appearance of number 20 in green, Dino Ciccarelli, in his 3rd year in the NHL. Ciccarelli on a line with Bobby Smith at center. The Hawks with Lysiak, Preston, Sutter, Fox, and Crossman. Now Ciccarelli skating in the circle. He'll change places with Ron Freese. Roberts and Maxwell on the points for the North Stars. Just underway. The game 30 seconds old. Fox takes the puck from Crossman. Headman to Lysiak. He slips, still lifts the puck in. Preston against Roberts. And the muscular North Stars defenseman gets position. Now Fox throws his weight in to freeze the puck on the stick of Bobby Smith. Trying to twist Crossman. He can't. In front to Cicerelli, and a penalty coming up to Rich Preston as he interferes with Dino Cicerelli. Live from Chicago Stadium, this is the NHL.
Whether you have one room or the entire house to paint, you can do it all.
Touch the puck as Bobby Smith tried to feed a nice soft dump pass out in front. But Cicerelli dumped to the ice in a call by Hood. We should see a lot of penalties called early in this hockey game to set the pace. The referee wants to be in control.
Tim Young at the point to Bellows behind the net. Wilson can't clear it. Comes in front of the North Stars. Shoot and fail to hit the net as Brian Bellows missed the wide open goal. Here's Gardner. Bill Gardner. A shot and a save by Joe Malone. Now Bobby Smith on center during this Minnesota power play leaves the puck for Tim Young. He's on 1 point. Brad Maxwell is on the other. The puck comes around behind the Hawks net, and here's Rick Patterson with it. It's Gardner, Patterson, Bob Murray, and Wilson killing the penalty. Patterson doing a good job killing time. A minute 20 to go, and the penalty to Rich Preston. Now the Hawks will send Marsh out for Gardner. Young up to Bellows, the sensational North Stars rookie, on to Bobby Smith. Back to Bellows. Here's Maxwell at the point. The puck caroms off a Hawk player and ends up on the stick of Smith. Maxwell at the point. The shot. The deflection by Payne off the glass. Bellows steering the puck ahead for Smith. Fine with Bob Murray, and it's Peter Mars to dump the puck to center ice. Gets by Maxwell. Patterson after the puck. Ends up with it. Still has control to Mars. The shot. Now it's Patterson. And Young blocks the first effort. A penalty coming up against Minnesota. And Steve Payne can't believe the call by Bruce Hood as this crowd comes to its feet.
Blackhawks almost scoring their third shorthanded goal of the year. Some excellent work by Patterson and Marsh. And then Patterson finally pulled to the ice by Steve Payne right in front of Bruce Hood in behind the North Star net.
Now both teams will be a man short. Preston with 37 seconds to go in his penalty. His penalty at the 55-second mark. Now Payne will go off here at 2:18 in the first period. Boy, a rousing start here in the much-anticipated matchup.
Here's the penalty call right there. The North Stars get a 4-minute penalty. Payne must get 2 more for unsportsmanlike because he didn't go straight to the penalty box.
Bruce Hood tacking on 2 more, and the crowd loves it. 37 seconds from now, the Blackhawks will have a power play of almost 3.5 minutes as Eaves and Lysiak are waved down.
Good call by Hood. That the rule stipulates that you must go straight to the penalty box. Even if you do argue the call, you must continue on in a non-stop motion to the box.
At the point box, the shot as both teams play a man short is wide. Crossman behind the net for Sutter to Lysiak. He can't get a stick on the puck. Here's the veteran North Star, George Ferguson. Over on the left wing to Randy Valashek. In front to Eaves, and the shot deflects high into the crowd.
We look at the veteran George Ferguson picked up in a trade from the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins giving up their first-round draft choice, along with Ferguson, for Hawkinson. Now the North Stars, it looks like they're going to get first or second pick overall. Last year they did some jockeying for position to pick up Brian Bellows. Now they're going to get another good draft.
Both teams playing a man short. There's no score very early in the game at Chicago Stadium. Ken Wilson with Dale Talon. Lysiak against Eaves. Sutter steers the puck to Wilson. This is Doug Wilson. 5 seconds away from a Hawk power play. Crossman rushing to center ice. Around Mendez. Crossman with a puck to Lysiak. Preston is back on the pass for Sutter, knocked away. Mendez hits his own man Ferguson, and the Hawks control in their own zone. Chicago for 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Sutter ahead to Crossman on the near wing. Here's Dennis Savard backing in. Look at the move. Savard looking in front. Puts on the break. Poke check by Young, and Larmer takes on a man. Savard to Secord. Young gets the puck away. Bandits and Young can't decide who'll go to the corner. Wilson comes up. And the puck slapped off the boards down the ice. Crossman skates back for it. Approaching the 4-minute mark in the opening period, the Hawks and North Stars, 0-0. This is Doug Wilson. Shooting the puck in. Malage lets it go. Here's Larmer with it. Steve Larmer. Everyone goes the other way. Back to Savard. Coming in front. Dennis Savard. He shoots. He scores on the rebound. And the Hawks take a 1-0 lead.
A nice back behind the net pass off the backboards from Larmer to Savard. Savard with all kinds of time on his forehand on the short side. Larmer with a backhand pass off the backboards. Perfect bank to Savard. Makes a little move there. Gets the first shot away and then follows up to put his own rebound in for his 34th goal of the year.
What a job by Secord in front.
There's a key factor. Interference in front on the defenseman, allowing Savard to come in from the short side.
34th goal of the year for the young, sensational Hawks center, Dennis Savard. Now it's Bob Murray. Still a minute 50 to go in the Steve Payne penalty. The Hawks with a great opportunity to get a pair here. Bob Murray from Lysiak. Ooh, the pad save. Lysiak stopped by Malage, who makes back-to-back saves on the Hawks. Wilson neatly to Preston. Sutter and Lysiak in front. Wilson to drive. And that gets Malage ducking a bit as it sails over his head. Bellows and Wilson race after the puck, and Wilson ends up with it. The Hawks lead it 1-0. They still have a man advantage. Preston drives the puck in. Here's Darryl Sutter looking to center, and it's intercepted by Bellows on a good defensive play. Bellows with some fine anticipation ahead to Young, who pokes the puck to the side of the Chicago net. We've played 4 minutes, 55 seconds in the first period, and the Hawks lead it 1-0 on a Dennis Savard goal. 55 seconds remaining in the Hawk power play. Darryl Sutter into the corner, stopped by Ferguson. Crossman to drive wide. Here's Bob Murray. He stops the puck. Crossman straight away. The save. The shot by Savard. And somehow Malage recovers to make the save on the rebound. Here's Larmer into the corner to Savard. Trying to get it back to Larmer. Stopped by Maxwell. Half a minute in Payne's penalty remaining. This is George Ferguson. He'll look back towards his own zone to Maxwell, and he flips the puck in. And this is Bob Murray. The pass to Savard. He has to wait for Secord, who had moved into the Minnesota zone. Crossman to Bob Murray. Oh, what a fine year Bob Murray has had. On to Secord. Here's Crossman. Back to Secord. And in front. And no shot as the pass saved on the stick of Secord, and the drive by Crossman. Now back at full strength, the North Stars. This is Payne just out of the penalty box. O'Calla had a shot right on. Malage the save. Hawks lead it 1-0. A frantic pace as the puck knocks Flett off his skate. Brad Maxwell follows up, shoots the puck in the corner, and a drive by McCarthy rejected by the Hawks. And a chance for Roberts. He falls down but plays the puck to Flett, and it goes back to Hartsburg, up to Roberts. Minnesota with a puck. They have not maintained control that much here in the first 6 minutes, 35 seconds. Neil Broughton can't get around Dave Beamster, and Al Secord barrels down the wing. Secord carrying the puck, trying to get around Hartsburg. He can't, and Malage plays it into the corner where Hartsburg and Secord are down. This is Ludwig, and the puck carries off the glass into the crowd. And from Chicago Stadium, the Hawks lead it 1-0. Check, but he fights on. Fraser tries to center and can't. Now Ludwig, who's played super hockey the last few weeks of the season, knocked off balance by Smith, and Bruce Hood, the referee, stopped play.
Ludwig with 4 goals in 4 straight hockey games. He and Fraser have had a variety of right wingers. They've had Patterson, they've had Marsh, Higgins, and they've had Dennis Sear.
Steve Lutzig at New Brunswick with Orville Tessier a season ago. And his line will go off to be replaced by Marsh on the left wing, Gardner at center, and Patterson on the right wing.
Dino Ciccarelli back on the right side. 3-game suspension. It was his first game back after suffering that suspension. Last night he played against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And the Maple Leafs won at Minnesota, ending a 5-game home ice win streak for the North Stars. Here's Mandich, the rookie from Ohio State, off the skate of Freeze. And Bannerman has to play it, no icing. Crossman to Marsh, ahead to Gardner, 2-on-1. A shot. Wow, what a great save by Jill Malage on Bill Gardner with only one man back, defenseman Kurt Giles.
Again, we see a hot goaltender against the Blackhawks. We haven't seen too many bad goaltenders all year. 2-on-1 situation. Malage comes down to cut the angle. Look what I found. A reflex-type save. The shot hitting him right in the glove. Look at that great camera angle from in behind. Malage just staring that wicked shot by Gardner.
32-year-old Joe Malage, 20 wins, 12 losses, 11 ties this season, 3.46 goals against average. 7:35 gone first period. Hawks power play goal, the only marker thus far at 3:57. Wilson and Larmer assist on the 31st goal of the season, the 34th for Dennis Savard. We'll have the face-off all over again near the Minnesota net. Penalties thus far. Preston went off for interference at 55 seconds while he was in the penalty box. Steve Payne picked up a holding penalty and also a 2-minute minor for unsportsmanlike conduct. Wilson shot knocked down, played by Gordy Roberts. His pass between Maxwell and Bellows, and it's Wilson ahead to Lysiak with a nice soft touch. On to Preston, the pass behind him, Payne back, forced behind his net by Preston, and then Maxwell pokes the puck on the near wing to Bellows. Lysiak knocks that effort down and gets the puck right back. Over to Wilson. Wilson, Bob Murray, Lysiak, Preston, and Sutter on the ice for the Norris Division champion. The fight breaks out at center ice. The fight breaking out at center ice right in front of the Minnesota bench. Bob Murray skating by as Preston gets involved with Gordy Roberts.
Roberts came across and took the man in front of the North Stars bench. Preston got a stick and glove up into his face against Roberts, and Roberts dropped his gloves and started giving it to Preston.
No love lost between these two teams. What an incredible rivalry, and the early going of the first period tonight has been all you would expect coming off that great game in Minnesota 9 nights ago. The Blackhawks' next home game coming up on Sunday against the St. Louis Blues. It'll be the 80th game of the regular season, the finale. Tickets at Ticketron by calling Teletron. And at the Chicago Stadium box office, you can use your Visa or MasterCard to purchase Blackhawk tickets. Remember, 1,000 seats will be on sale here at the stadium 1 hour before Sunday's game. And the Stanley Cup playoffs first round action begins right here next Wednesday night.
Here we get a look at how it results. Bob Murray coming up from his defense position, but the whistle had blown as soon as he touched the puck when the altercation occurred between both benches.
Each 2-minute high-sticking penalties and 5-minute fighting penalties. Roberts of Minnesota, Preston of Chicago at 8:07. And Bruce Hood is like that strict first or second grade teacher you had who wants to lay down the law early. He tries to center, and the puck deflects to center ice. Randy Velishek is back for it on defense with Hartsburg. Both teams playing it at full strength, just losing the services of the two players involved in the altercation. Secord pass through the slot area. Larmer takes out Payne. Good check by Savard. In front to Secord, back to Savard, over to Larmer. Too well covered by Payne. Plenty of time. Bob Murray shot knocked down. Payne trying to spring Young loose, but Wilson is back. On his backhand, not much from Young. Wilson takes Young out. Scramble for the puck. Secord gets it. And the crowd loves it as Young goes down, and they like it even more as Savard gets the puck. Dennis Savard, the old spinaroo, but loses it to Velishek. Ahead to Young, trying to O'Callahan. He can, and the North Stars are offside.
Blackhawks fans cheering at every instant. Every little thing the Blackhawks do, they get riled up about Doug Wilson flattening Tim Young. The fans loving every minute of it. Al Secord bidding to become the highest Blackhawk goal scorer in history. He tries to surpass the record of 58 goals set by none other than the Golden Jet himself, Bobby Hull.
1-0. Blackhawks. 10:40 to go in the opening period. Eaves back to the defense, and it's played by Mandich from Giles to Ferguson. Long shot wide. O'Callahan back in a battle, and the Hawks get the puck. Ludwig, great pass for Fraser. Giles skating towards him, gets the stick in the way, and the puck deflects into the crowd.
Excellent backhand pass from deep inside the blue line. A pass that you don't see too often today. Most players electing to go to their forehands to make that pass, but excellent play by Ludwig. Both he and Larmer make that excellent backhand pass. He set Fraser on his way. Fraser took forever to crank that flop shot up, allowed Giles to get a stick in front of the puck and deflect it high into this huge throng here at the Chicago Stadium, and someone is injured in behind.
So a fan catching a puck in the forehead, walking out under his own power. Most of these fans are going to have trouble walking out under their own power after all the energy they're going to spend here tonight.
Not talking about the Budweiser they'll be knocking back either.
Malage leaves the puck for Giles. Look at the forechecking by Ludwig. Now Eaves comes in, and Higgins. Fraser puts on the brakes, dashes into the corner. Not intimidated by Mandich. Eaves ahead to Giles at the center red line. Just shy of it, says the linesman, but no icing. Bannerman getting the puck ahead. Fraser has it. Behind the net for O'Callahan. Up to Higgins. He can't get it out. Giles keeps the puck in, and Beamster digs after it in the corner. He's bumped. Puck still loose. And it's Tim Higgins with a burst of speed. Having the puck lifted by Mandich, who hands it to Ludwig and play a bit ragged. 9:40 remaining first period. Gardner to Beamster. The Hawks up 1-0. Back for Gardner behind him. Here's Valachek. Valachek gets the puck right back. The youngster pressed into duty as Fred Barrett is out for a couple of weeks with a broken finger. Bannerman leaves the puck for Crossman. On defense with Beamster at the moment. Broughton forechecking. This is Patterson. Just gets the puck out. Valachek plays it to Broughton. He and Gardner spin each other around and flat. Shoots the puck right back in. The Hawks now having a little trouble getting out of their own zone. Here's Patterson to Gardner. Marsh on his left. Gardner looking to Marsh in front, and he can't reach the pass. Marsh with two North Stars in the corner. It comes back to Crossman. To Patterson. Gardner all alone. Shoots. And somehow it goes wide. Malage gets back up, and the North Stars dump the puck to center ice. Crossman near his own blue line. Out to Marsh. We've seen some exciting hockey in the first period. Patterson tries to make an unbelievable move and can't quite pull it off. Here's McCarthy trying to stay onside, but he can't, and the whistle stops play with 8:33 to go in the first period. 1-0 Chicago. Dale and I will be there. Hope you'll be with us. A preview of one of the Patrick Division playoff series, the Rangers and the Flyers. Hawks lead this one 1-0. Higgins jumps. Tim Higgins knocked to the ice, and an interference penalty will be called by referee Bruce Hood, who is right on top of every infraction tonight.
I'm sure Hood was told prior to the hockey game, make sure you call everything, be in complete control, and he's called an excellent period. There we see Higgins getting dumped right there by Hartsburg as he tries to get on the North Star defenseman to get onto that loose puck.
11:38, the time of the penalty. The only goal, Chicago getting it. Dennis Savard, the marksman, coming on an earlier power play.
Been all Chicago in this first period. Malage with some excellent saves. Bannerman yet to really face one tough shot in the whole period. North Stars this year have scored a lot of shorthanded goals. 15, 16 shorthanded goals they've scored. Well, the Blackhawks have only scored 2.
This This is Doug Wilson on with Bob Murray, Savard, Secord, and Larmer. Look at Wilson go. In the corner for Savard. He'll come right in front. He fakes, he shoots, and Melange makes the save and smothers the rebound.
Savard with all kinds of time as the puck was like a magnet. Two of the North Star players chasing Doug Wilson. Savard was left all alone. He had all kinds of time to come out, took his time, and then forgot to put it upstairs as Melange, sprawling to his left, robbed Savard of his second goal of the night.
Only a player with the brilliance of Dennis Savard can consistently get that kind of time.
Savard bidding to overtake his point total of last year, has 118 points. Last year, 119 points, an all-time Blackhawk record for most points in one season.
Savard still but 22 years of age. Hawks power play, another minute and 40 seconds. They lead it 1-0. First period here at the stadium. Bob Murray steps into Broughton. And the two Hawk players go down, smother the puck, and that'll take the face-off outside the Minnesota zone.
Remember, the opposing team, or the offensive team, freezes the puck in the offensive zone. In a shorthanded situation or even an even strength situation, it's up to the discretion of the referee if it's voluntary. If it's voluntary, the face-off goes outside the blue line in the neutral zone.
Here's Secord, but Melange comes out to whack the puck away. Secord to Savard. Hope checked neatly by Young, but Savard ends up with a puck in the far corner. Look at Savard. Can he do it all alone? Oh, a great stick save. Savard still has the puck. Tries to stuff it in and can't. He still has the puck. Ladies and gentlemen, an immense task being accomplished by Dennis Savard. And on the rebound, the puck comes back to the right point. One of the most incredible displays of individual ability you'll ever see in the NHL. Right there. 50 seconds to go in the Hawks power play. They lead it 1-0. Wilson knocks the puck down with his skate. Savard diving after the puck, and it goes to Young. He can't clear a blind pass. This is Bob Murray, and off Ferguson, the puck deflects into the crowd. That was an absolutely incredible exhibition by Savard.
Looked like Curly Neal of the Harlem Globetrotters putting on a dribbling display. He had control of the puck for about 45 seconds. That alone is worth the price of admission. Blackhawk fans getting quite a show there by the youngster Savard.
Amazing. 1-0 Chicago. Savard, who else got the goal? Wilson to Lysiak. Here's Lysiak into the Minnesota zone. Sutter after the puck, and Mandich beats him to it. Ahead to his teammate Mike Eves, the former University of Wisconsin star. North Stars playing it a man short, killing time. Greg Hartsburg serving the interference penalty called at 11:38. Now the North Stars changing players. Hartsburg will be back in 5 seconds. Bobby Smith gathers in the loose puck along the boards for Freese. Hartsburg back on at center ice, will go to the bench. This is Kurt Giles. In front, and it's deflected wide by Smith. He tries to center, and Lysiak plays it to the boards. Mandich shoots it ahead, and Fox has the puck. Up to Higgins. Long pass for Lysiak onside. Sutter breaks for the net. The drop pass comes to Fox. The screen shot. And it deflects right on, and Sutter just failed to get the rebound. Here's Lysiak across to Higgins. Higgins run hard to the boards. Out of the crowd comes Dino Ciccarelli to a chorus of boos. And they like it when he fans on the pass. Now it's O'Callahan. Meanwhile, Fox and Ciccarelli behind the play mix it up a bit. The save on O'Callahan by Malone. 5.5 minutes to go in a whale of a first period. Gardner gets the puck with some help from Marsh, who digs it out. Marsh spun around, and the North Stars intercept. Craig Hartsburg, the Minnesota captain, off the boards for Ciccarelli, driven down by Feenstra, but a penalty coming up. It'll be a charging penalty to Dave Feenstra. And maybe the top point to be made about this first period, as Dale has pointed out so accurately, is how closely this game is being called by Bruce Hood. presented by the Chicago Blackhawks solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any other use of this program without the consent of Sports Vision and the Blackhawks is prohibited. Ken Wilson with Dale Talon at Chicago Stadium. The Hawks lead the North Stars 1-0.
Blackhawks totally dominating the game. Beamster comes in and just cross-checks Cicerelli from behind. Cicerelli nowhere near the puck. Beamster gets called for charging. We've had 9 penalties called in the first 14 minutes of this hockey game.
Gordy Roberts and Rich Preston, who went off together at 8:07, 7 minutes apiece for high sticking and fighting, still in the penalty box with just over 5 minutes left in the period. Hartsburg to Payne. Around the boards, Bannerman can't stop the puck. It comes to the point. Neil Broughton leaves the puck. Bob Murray takes on his man Eaves, and it's a chance for Patterson. Hawks up 1-0. 2-on-1 break. Patterson and Gardner. Hartsburg back, and he knocks the puck away. Gardner centers, and Hartsburg ends up with a puck. You wouldn't know it. The Hawks are playing a man short. Neil Broughton behind the North Stars goal with Hartsburg, Eaves, Payne, and Bellows. Payne hits Gardner, and retreating is Broughton. Neil Broughton, 5'9" Minnesota forward, slowly in his own zone to Eaves, back to Broughton. Marsh with Gardner, Wilson, and Bob Murray now killing the penalty. Mike Eaves puts on the brakes. Less than a minute to go in the North Stars power play. Bellows in front for Payne, the man. Now it's Hartsburg with some stick handling to Eaves, who tried to deflect it, may have gotten a piece of it, but the big piece obtained by Bannerman, who made that save. Now Bellows can't keep it in, and it goes by Broughton down the ice, and Hartsburg beats Marsh to it. The two teams changing players. Beamster of the Hawks serving a penalty. He'll be back in 30 seconds. McCarthy to Payne, and a glove save by Bannerman. Marsh gets the puck off Wysiek to center ice, and that has been the biggest test thus far for Murray Bannerman. Cicerelli out to the blue line to Young. Here's Maxwell in front for Cicerelli. The save by Bannerman. The puck went along the goal line, and McCarthy couldn't turn it in. Bannerman way out of the crease, and here's Greg Fox. Beamster back on. Fox shooting the puck to length of the ice. Icing against Chicago.
The fans tell the story. Blackhawks killing off the penalty successfully. A tremendous save by Murray Bannerman on Steve Payne. And then another excellent save on Eaves from the short side. There's the pass across from Maxwell, the initial save. The rebound goes right through the crease. Right there, fanned on by McCarthy as the puck hopped over his stick. He thought he had a sure empty net goal. Bannerman playing defense back there, helping his defenseman out, got the puck loose, allowing him to ice the puck.
Referee Hood stops the puck. O'Callahan and Smith together, and play stopped with 2:54 remaining here in the opening period. And Jack O'Callahan well deserves the spotlight. He has stepped in and filled the breach left by the shoulder separation obtained by Keith Brown a few months back, and he's been superb.
He certainly has. He has 5 assists as well in his last 5 hockey games. Defensively, he's been steady as a rock, and offensively, he's made some key plays. He's still looking for his first NHL goal.
Ludzik centering Higgins and Fraser. Beamster team with O'Callahan in front of Bannerman. Cicerelli, Smith, and Priest on for Minnesota. Giles and Mandich on defense, and O'Callahan gets the puck. Eluding Smith. Hooks the bench. It's enough for a penalty. Delayed penalty. Bannerman to the bench. The Hawks with an extra attacker. Savard, the extra man, comes in front, and then Priest takes the puck, and the whistle blows. The penalty coming up against Minnesota.
Bobby Smith, guilty culprit for hooking. O'Callahan with an excellent move to get by Smith. Had some open ice in front of him. There's the move, and here's the hook. The long, rangy hook there by Smith. O'Callahan loses his balance. A good call again by Hood.
The next issue of Hockey News will have a special section on the Blackhawks, including a colored cover photo of Orville Tessier and 3 of his stars. As a Hawks fan, you'll want to be sure to have as a souvenir, and certainly for a close look, the next issue of Hockey News. You can pick up the edition of Hockey News in the stadium, starting with Sunday's game here against St. Louis. It will also be available, of course, at most newsstands. The Hockey News next issue, a big feature on your Blackhawks. Crossman to Secor. And he loses the puck. Here's Neil Broughton. Minnesota playing short. Broughton killing some time. He'll go to the bench. Roberts, Maxwell, Young, and Ferguson killing the penalty for Minnesota. Here's Doug Crossman flipping the puck in wide. Ferguson is back for it. He can't clear. Crossman. DeLarmer, and intercepting is Gordy Roberts. Been in the penalty box for a while. He has a lot of energy. To Young, just offside. And now a minute 24 to go in the Hawk power play. And still 2 minutes, 2 seconds to go in the period, with the Hawks scoring the only goal on a power play at 3:57. Savard from Larmer and Wilson.
Blackhawks' third power play of the period. They capitalized on the early power play where they had the man advantage for almost 3.5 minutes as Payne went off for holding and unsportsmanlike conduct, 4 minutes in minor penalties. And this is the third one as Smith went off for hooking. And so far they haven't been able to muster a good shot at Milosh. Yet only 30 seconds have expired on the penalty.
Preston, Lysiak, Sutter, Bob Murray, and Wilson. Hawks down to their final 3 games of the 82-83 regular season. Trying to score an important home ice win over Minnesota. Ferguson. Weak backhand effort. Wilson is shot right on. And Sutter can't get the rebound. Roberts does and clears the zone. These two teams 9 nights ago played a sensational game at Minnesota, and they played an extremely fierce and entertaining brand of hockey here in the first period tonight. And the North Stars get the puck out of danger. Eaves clearing it down the ice. Bobby Smith still with 40 seconds to go in his penalty. The Hawk fans want another goal before the end of the period. Sutter stopped. Bannerman way out of the net. Plays the puck away from Bellows. Here's Lysiak stick handling over the Minnesota blue line. Broughton trying to steal the puck and gets to Preston. His good backhand unable to get away. Brian Bellows with Broughton. Bellows to Broughton. The shot and it springs off the goalpost. He hit the outside part of the goalpost, and now the Hawks' opportunity. Marsh gets the puck from Preston with Gardner. Can't quite get the pass to Gardner. Here's Valachek. Ahead to Bellows, and he gets it to center ice where Marsh regains control and backhands the puck in. Half a minute to go in the first period. 1-0 Blackhawks. Blackhawks trying to win for the 46th time this year. Both teams at full strength. Smith back on with a pass to Bellows. Quick shot. Bannerman the save. Crossman clears the rebound. 12 seconds remaining in the opening period. Rick Patterson to Peter Marsh. The shot. That's knocked down. Hawks keep the puck in with 3 seconds remaining. The siren's down, and that's the end of the opening period. And in period 1 is
Knotted at 2 apiece in the third period.
Larmer can't get the puck out. Maxwell banks it to Flett. Here's Broughton behind the net for McCarthy. Out to Gordy Roberts. He has trouble with the puck, and it squirts to center ice. Hawks have Savard, Larmer, Secord, Wilson, and Bob Murray on the ice. Wilson goes back to the puck. It'll be an icing call, and the faceoff will return way to the other end of the rink. Here, Minnesota goaltender Gilles Malone.
First time all season, or all game, I should say, that the Blackhawks have had some difficulty at full strength getting out of their own zone. Doug Wilson have another fine season. 63 points.
Minnesota, can they make changes? Can they make adjustments? Or is it a case of having seen each other so often that there's not much new you can try?
Maybe some line juggling at all. Switch one player off another line and put them on to another one. But both teams know each other's tendencies. You know, you played together 8 hockey games. This is the 8th hockey game you played. You played in preseason. You know exactly what the other team's going to do. It's just a matter of execution and who wants it the most.
1-0 Blackhawks early in the second period. Preston and Sutter on the wings. Lysiak at center. Fox and Crossman on the blue line for Orville Tessier's Hawks. It'll be Sutter replacing Lysiak in the circle. Smith wins the draw with a second effort. Roberts and Maxwell on defense. Smith between Priest and Bellows. Second, make it Cicerelli. Maxwell with a good effort gets the puck in. Crossman behind the net, pressured by Priest. Pump. Preston takes out Roberts, and the puck comes down the ice into the Minnesota zone, and this is Cicerelli. A hard man if there ever was one. Bumped by Sutter. Maxwell to Bobby Smith. Flips the puck to Priest. Cicerelli trying to cut in on Fox. He comes in front, and Bannerman a sensational sliding save, but a penalty coming up. A penalty will be called against Greg Fox. Early in the second period, the Hawks won. The North Stars no score.
Move to get around Fox. Fox had to pull him down, and Bannerman making an excellent save.
Bob Murray whacks the puck along the boards. Hartsburg keeps it in. Bannerman out of the net. In some trouble. Smith, however, can't get it in front. Finally to the point. Hartsburg gets the pass from Young. Young gets the puck back. A shot knocked down by Gardner, and he'll clear it off the linesman to center ice. Young and Hartsburg on the points for Minnesota. This is Payne with a puck on a forward line with Smith and Bellows. Minnesota with a man advantage, trailing 1-0. Young at the point. Hawks trying to stay in a box. Wilson and Murray on defense. Patterson and Gardner, the two forwards. Bellows is in front. The pass comes to Young. He breaks his stick, and Wilson, without any hesitation, shoots the puck away. 2:10 gone. Period 2. 1-0 Chicago. Fox in the penalty box for just more than 1 minute. Bobby Smith, poke check. Wilson hits Marsh. Bellows gets the puck. It goes to Smith. The save by Bannerman. Wilson drapes Smith over the back of the goal. And here's Bob Murray with a charge to center ice. He's tripped from behind by Bellows. Delayed penalty coming up against Chicago. Or against Minnesota. Chicago with a man advantage for just a moment. And the whistle by Bruce Hood stops play. So Fox will be joined by Bellows as the Hawks for that moment had the extra attacker.
Good bit of play acting by Bobby Murray to help his cause. Bellows gets a hook out of it, and Bob Murray takes a spill in front of Hood. First poor call of the hockey game by referee Hood on the rookie, Bellows.
Hooking penalty at 2:34 to Brian Bellows. 44 seconds remaining in that holding penalty to Greg Fox. Murray Bannerman with some good stops here early in period 2. Both teams now will play one man short. Boy, this crowd has never lost its edge tonight. They came roaring in from outdoors, and they have kept a steady roar up. O'Callahan off the leg and off Malage. Beamster, the save by Malage. Beamster looking to center, and a good job stealing the puck by Roberts. Over to Maxwell. McCarthy takes the pass, 2-on-1 with Broughton. O'Callahan back the shot. Bannerman the save. And here's a chance for Steve Ludwig. He's got Frazier ahead of them. Shoots the puck in. Maxwell after it. Falls down. Oh, watch that ankle. Maxwell could be hurt. His left ankle crashing into the boards. Trying to get up.
Maxwell trying to get to that puck to a shot around the boards. Lost his balance and went into the corner boards in a precarious position. Very lucky that he didn't injure himself seriously. Gets up and... Boy, that was a potentially dangerous situation. Watch him lose his balance there. A very awkward position to go sliding on the boards. He's lucky he didn't injure his knees or his ankles.
That's painful just to watch, and amazing that Brad Maxwell appears to be just fine.
Maxwell, who's been a steady performer in the 8-game series against the Blackhawks, scored the winning goal in the last contest on that wicked shot from just inside the blue line.
Dennis Savard, the contest's only goal, is 34th of the year. Larmer and Wilson assisting on a power play at 3:57 of the first period. This is period 2 action. The period 3 minutes 5 seconds old. Face-off near the Minnesota goal. Broughton wins it from Savard. Gets the puck back from Maxwell. Along with Ferguson, this is Broughton. Roberts and Maxwell, the defenseman, and Broughton will rag the puck to kill time. Now Greg Fox steps back on the ice. A power play for Chicago. And Roberts sends the puck to Crossman. Crossman stopped with a pass effort by Eves. Gets it to Wilson, on to Savard. Savard to Wilson to Secord. Larmer and Crossman are in front. The pass to Crossman broken up. Eves clears the puck away. Eves, Ferguson up front. Hartsburg, one of the defensemen on for Minnesota, and young Randy Valachek is the other. Larmer feeds ahead to Savard. Savard stick handling with a puck. Look at the move, loses it, and Ferguson clears it right on goal. The save by Bannerman. We're at the 4-minute mark in the second period. 1-0 Chicago. Half-minute left in the Blackhawk power play. Wilson and Savard, two trains passing and just lucky enough to have side-by-side cracks. Crossman shoots the puck in wide. Hartsman back for it. Hartsburg beats Secord to it. Then Secord yanks Hartsburg down, and the penalty will be against Secord of the Blackhawks. Penalty coming with 16 seconds remaining in the Brian Bellows penalty.
Secord getting a penalty for hooking to make up for that call against Bellows. Two similar calls, both players taking dives, and Hood making a bad call.
And at Chicago Stadium, there's a break in the action. Hartsburg onto the stick of McCarthy. Bellows returns to the ice as Fox creams McCarthy. McCarthy retaliates. Bruce Hood looking on, no call. Now a minute and a half to go in the Al Secord penalty. Here's Hartsburg behind the Minnesota net. That's the first time in this hockey game that Bruce Hood has not been in a hurry to blow the whistle. McCarthy leaves the puck for Platt. Fox shading Platt to Cicerelli. Out to Broughton. Trailing by a goal. Now in front. Platt and Fox, and they'll both go off.
Can't believe he's calling a penalty on Fox. He should have called one on Platt. Platt slashing Fox from behind. Now he calls an even or up for both players going to the penalty box.
Fox making his second visit of the period, dueling with Platt, or getting dueled by Platt in front of Murray Bannerman. Hawks already playing one man short. Platt for slashing, Fox for interference at 5:04. Secord still a minute 14 to go. That's the period of time the Hawks are destined to be shorthanded, as long as they can hold back the North Star. So the offsetting Fox and Platt penalties, 5 skaters to 4. 1-0 Chicago, and a great hockey game at the stadium tonight, and it's just fun to be here. And we're happy that you can be part of the fun on Sports Vision. Here's Neil Broughton at the point. Gordy Roberts, the shot. Cicerelli couldn't get a good stick on it, and Bannerman an alert save, and the crowd out of play. Puck into the crowd, rather, out of play, and this crowd cheering at every move.
Good save by Bannerman, but the big key there was the deflection of the shot into the crowd so that Cicerelli couldn't get a rebound.
1 week from tonight, the Stanley Cup playoffs, round 1, begin right here. Wednesday the 6th and Thursday the 7th. Games 1 and 2 of the best-of-5 series between the Hawks and the 4th place finisher in the Norris Division. And you'll see the games on Sports Vision. Broughton with Cicerelli. At the point, Roberts over to Maxwell. McCarthy dueling with Wilson in front. Broughton plays the puck back to Maxwell, fakes a shot. Broughton takes the pass quickly to Roberts. He unloads, the save by Bannerman. Maxwell, a quick shot, knocked down. Then Broughton has the puck in the corner. 40 seconds to go in Secord's penalty, and Bob Murray intercepts the pass. That was airmailed towards Dino Cicerelli. Over 14 minutes to go in the second period. Oh, it's It's been pure joy to watch these two teams all season, and they're not disappointing tonight. 1-0 Hawks. Minnesota the man advantage. Roberts wings it over to Maxwell. In the slot to Broughton. The shot blocked by Bob Murray. Preston gets the puck. Whoa, and he's slammed to the boards by Payne, but able to clear the puck down the ice. The two teams change on the fly. Secord ready to come back on the ice in 4 seconds. Roberts a long pass to Bobby Smith. Hawks back at full strength. Smith starts to leave the puck, then centers. Marsh intercepts, can't get going. Payne after it. Out to the point to Hartsburg. Secord knocks it down, and Marsh starts to center ice. Stick handling in, and the pass for Secord broken up neatly. Minnesota back at center ice. Smith puts on the brakes to avoid Preston. Leaves the puck for Valachek. Off the boards for Bellows, and the play offside. Valachek inside the Minnesota blue line, and Bellows out over the checkered center red line.
A lot of credit to the Blackhawks and their penalty killing unit. Blackhawks this year have allowed 70 shorthanded goals, or 70 goals, while being short 290 times, including the 3 times they've been short tonight.
You know, Bobby Smith, we saw him 9 nights ago in a fight with the Blackhawks at the stadium, or I should say at the Met Center in Bloomington last night, in another fight in that hockey game with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And of course, we've talked often about Bobby Smith being a little bit on the mild-mannered side, but not lately.
He's come on in the second half. He's their leading scorer. Everyone was complaining about his lackluster play in the first half, but he's played very well for them. He has 25 points in 22 hockey games.
No holds barred in this one. Jordy Douglas got partially deflected wide. Mandich comes in, takes on Lutzig, never gets near the puck, and this is Kurt Giles. Giles with Mandich, heaves on the seat of his pants. The Chicago Stadium. Sting MISL tickets at 333 North Michigan, the Sting office, or you can call 558-KICK and purchase Sting tickets with your Visa or MasterCard. And remember, because of the Blackhawks playoff game 1 week from tonight, the game between the Sting and St. Louis has been changed to Monday, April the 11th. See the Sting and the MISL here at the stadium.
Here we get a look at the penalty here. Lutzig gets a charging call as he levels Douglas on a severe body check in the neutral zone. A charging penalty anytime you take over 2 steps to take a run at a player is a charging call. He didn't take any steps there. He was in a spread situation, coasting into him, and he jumped up and leveled him.
7-11, the time of the penalty, and this period, like the first, has been filled with penalties. Minnesota with a power play. Maxwell controls the puck. He's on defense with Gordy Roberts, who takes control. On to Neil Broughton with McCarthy. Cicerelli is the other wing. The pass back for Broughton. Bannerman swipes at the puck, misses it. Look out! He falls on it alertly and holds on long enough to gain a faceoff.
Bannerman coming out of the net to try and help out his defense. Fanned on it. Lost sight of it. He turned around. The puck was at his feet. Here he comes out now. He fans on it right here. Doesn't know where it is. He can't see it. He steps on it. Finally gets on it, then very alertly puts himself back in the crease so he doesn't get a delay of game penalty. Bannerman looking very sharp in this 40th game this season.
Bannerman with a record of 22 wins, 12 losses, 5 ties, 3.21 goals against average. And what a job Bannerman and Esposito, as we have pointed out all season, have done for the Hawks in one of their best seasons ever. 45 wins already and 100 points, trying to add to both totals here tonight against the much-hated Minnesota North Stars. Boy, Bruce Hood came on the ice with a scowl, and he's had one ever since the outset.
He's starting to get carried away with himself, though, in the second period. Blackhawks with 4 penalties in the second period to Minnesota's 2.
Cicerelli, Maxwell, McCarthy. The shot, great save, Bannerman. Wilson clears the puck away. As fine a save as Bannerman has been called upon to make tonight. Hawks with some great forechecking by Patterson and Gardner. With the puck, the North Stars. Eaves on the left wing to Cicerelli. He falls down, and Gardner scoops the puck down the ice. 1 minute to go in the Ludwig penalty. Gardner replaced by Marsh. Marsh, Patterson, Wilson, and Bob Murray. Here's Bob Murray killing some time with some good stick handling. Plays the puck to Peter Marsh. Trying to get around McCarthy. Marsh taken out. Marsh being held a bit. The crowd doesn't like it. Maxwell slowed down by Preston. Here's Cicerelli. And play is stopped. And the Hawks called on a delayed offside at the Minnesota blue line.
A great bit of work by Bob Murray, who's been such a steady performer this season on the blue line, playing great hockey in the last month. An outstanding job. Breaking up the play, keeping control of the puck, and then putting Peter Marsh on his way on the left side. The fans upset with Hood, figuring a penalty should have been called as Peter Marsh was held by McCarthy.
Half a minute, Ludwig will be back on. Giles for Minnesota, away from Marsh, over to Smith with those long strides. Back to Giles, little wrist pass for Bellows broken up. Preston does the job again, and here's Crossman clearing the puck down the ice. It has been a sensational game so far. Very low scoring, only the one goal. Savard at 3:57 of the first period. Here's Smith. Played in the penalty to Ludwig. The drive by Giles, caught by Bannerman. And 1 second left in the Steve Ludwig penalty.
Excellent work by the Hawks penalty killing unit again. Only 1 second remains. They've killed 3 penalties off in this second period.
Such close games between these two teams all season long. A 5-4 win for the Hawks here. A 5-4 loss in Minnesota. A 4-4 tie at Minnesota. A 2-1 loss here. A 4-3 loss in the most recent meeting 9 days ago. So close games are not unusual between these two tough competitive teams. A great, great rivalry. Many feel now this is the top rivalry in the NHL. Ludwig out of the penalty box. Wysiak with a puck, shoots it in. Knocked to the corner by Malaj. Centering pass. Comes to Crossman from Ludwig. The shot, the save by Malaj. King backhands the puck nicely to Bellows. One-on-one with Fox. Bellows makes the move. Comes in. And Bannerman poke checks him. Hartsburg, a quick shot. Deflected wide by Payne. Oh, what a dazzling play by Murray Bannerman after Bellows put one quick step on Greg Fox and was ready to move by him. Smith gets the pass from Giles. Neither team slowing up, but Higgins slows up Smith. Now Giles shooting the puck into the North Stars. Want fresh players on the ice as they change. Crossman up to Higgins. Here's Kurt Fraser lugging the puck into the Minnesota zone. Bumped by Roberts. Malaj whacks it up to Freese. He can't play it. Higgins is poke checked, and this is Feimster. Shooting the puck back to Callahan. He passes it in return to Feimster. Ahead for Ludwig. Into the Minnesota zone. Ludwig with Fraser and Higgins. Back to Fraser in front. At the point, O'Callahan. A shot stopped by Freese. 3-on-1 break. Feimster back. Freese the shot. And a pass saved by Bannerman. Murray Bannerman tonight playing one of his finest games of the season to this point. Just past the halfway mark. And the crowd very much behind Bannerman and the Blackhawks tonight. Secord and Young after the puck. Loose in the corner. It's Freese. Hit by Feimster. The puck off the board. Maxwell lets it go, and it's deflected by Secord. Harvard and Savard to Secord. The shot. The save. Savard. He can't get a shot away. Great balance by Savard. Loose puck. Larmer can't get a shot. Now it's Secord. Back to O'Callahan. In the corner, the puck carries behind the Minnesota net to Larmer on the far side. Both teams at full strength. Savard battling Young. Secord there. Now Larmer digging the puck out. Sweat doesn't see it, then slaps it to center ice, and this is O'Callahan back for the puck. Both teams trying to change players. Boy, we've had some great action from start to finish tonight. Secord. For Savard, broken up by Maxwell. Here's Ron Priest, who's been on the ice for a long time. Trying to kick the puck ahead. He can't. Larmer keeps it in. He's tripped. No penalty. 3-on-2 break. Ferguson to Priest. A good move. The shot. It comes in front. And unable to get the shot away is Eve. As Bannerman went down and stopped the play again. And a standing ovation for Murray Bannerman and the Blackhawks. Less than 8 minutes left in this second period. 1-0 Chicago. Non-stop action. Larmer bumped by Eve. Bob Murray behind the Blackhawk net. Off the boards for Secord. Rink wide for Larmer. He deflects the puck in. A potential icing. Hartsburg back, touches it, and finally a whistle. And the crowd vents some of its excitement and pleasure, and a standing ovation for Murray Bannerman. 7:40 to go in the second period. This place is going bananas. Second period.
Thanks to Murray Bannerman's outstanding goaltending. He had little or no work in the first period, but he's been severely tested in this second period, and the North Stars have yet to put one by him.
Preston against Ferguson. North Stars with a puck. And it's Sutter tipping it to center ice. Hartsburg skates back. Forecheck by Lysiak. Off the boards. Ferguson retreating to the corner. Returns the puck to Hartsburg. He's stopped by Sutter. Preston intercepts. Playing it ahead. Valachek after it, and he just misses Sutter. Ferguson overskates the puck. Finally clears it over his own blue line. And Rich Preston backhands it right back in, making referee Bruce Hood jump rope. Valachek bumped hard by Preston. Lysiak and Sutter throwing away around. He trips Sutter, and a penalty coming up against Minnesota's Vikings.
Hood calling a penalty again on the North Stars. He's called 4 against the Blackhawks in this period. That's the 7th penalty of the period, the 3rd to the North Stars as Eves goes off for tripping.
More exciting NHL play here on Sports Vision tomorrow night. Dale and I will be at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. The Patrick Division leading Flyers against the Rangers.
Get a look at Eves right there. Good call by Hood, sending Sutter flying into the corner boards right in front of referee Bruce Hood.
Of course, the Hawks' final 2 games of the regular season against the St. Louis Blues. A probable first-round playoff bowl. You'll see those right here on Sports Vision Saturday and Sunday nights. This is the place to be for NHL hockey. Lodge leaves the puck. Larmer gets it. Secord tries to dig it loose. Looks in front. Crossman up from the point. Secord holds the puck. Hawks with a man advantage. Trying to up their lead to 2-0. Savard gets it in front, gets the puck back, plays it off of Broughton to Crossman in the slot to Larmer. The Hawks with Wilson, a shot, a save by Malage. A bit dazed, just getting a piece of that point drive from Doug Wilson. Well, the Hawks have played really well in both periods, and Minnesota has played extremely well, especially in period 2. And an icing call against Chicago. The Hawks with a man advantage, icing the puck, and now 1:14 to go in the penalty to Mike Eves. You talk about physical intimidation, you talk about Willie Plett, but that's a key man. The rookie, 22 years of age, Dan Mandich, 6'3" or 4", well over 200 pounds.
Stronger than a garlic milkshake.
The Buckeye really likes to throw his weight around, and he's not embarrassed to drop the gloves if called upon. From the face-off, Minnesota with a puck, backing to center ice to kill time. 6:10 left, second period. The stadium is the scene. The Hawks with a 1-0 lead and a minute to go in the Chicago power play. Crossman with Wilson, Savard, Larmer, and Secord. Savard just pulling the puck back at the blue line, and Larmer went in a stride offside.
Savard made one move too many, putting Larmer at full speed. He couldn't stop. Good call by the linesman Bozak. Larmer well ahead of the play, good 3 feet offside. There you look at the statistics. Another outstanding season. Savard trying to overtake Peter Stastny for second place overall in NHL scoring.
The fellow by the name of Gretzky, of course, is at the top of the pile. Had another great game last night against the Canucks in Vancouver. Vancouver dreading finishing third in that division because they'd have to play Edmonton. As Savard is stopped by Malage. And Savard, Dale, we have seen him play so many great games. He's been one of the 3 stars so often, most often the first star in a game, and there have been few games any better than he's performed tonight.
Another great player right there. Crossman, look at this nice speed right here. Savard tries to put it under Malage as Malage dives out. He's unable to do so. What a nice play by Crossman. Crossman, who's been playing with a broken right thumb, re-injured the hand and had to go off as he was slashed on it after making the pass. You think the North Stars don't know that Crossman has a bad right thumb?
They're aware of all of those things. It's true in any sport. Injury is a big part, a big factor. Wilson knocked down after his shot is turned away by Bellows. Here's Gordy Roberts. Puck comes in front. Bannerman gives it to Larmer. And the rookie Larmer, ridden out by Roberts on a superb defensive play. Though some of the paying customers here might have asked for a hook. Doug Wilson. Hawks power play to Larmer. Back to Wilson. Broken up by Bellows. Here's Neil Trott. 3 seconds to go in the Chicago power play. Bellows has shot and that's stopped. Now it's Savard with both teams at full strength. Less than 5 minutes to go in the second period. Malage on a whistling shot from Savard just gets a piece of it. Boy, you see Savard with all the tricky moves, the stick handling, the wrist shots in close. And when he uncorks one, he's got one of the best slap shots in the league. As the Hawks almost sent Sutter in alone, O'Callahan back behind his own net to Lysiak. Lysiak, a good move. Then the pass for Sutter eludes him. Valachek back for the puck, touches it ahead of Preston. Icing against the Blackhawks. Now let's go back for an update on basketball play to our Sports Vision studios and Dick, the rebirth of the ABA. Here there has been a rebirth of great hockey support. It's always been, of course, a great hockey town. And Dale, this crowd tonight, and there have been tremendous crowds here over the years and numbers that maybe only the fire marshal knows about, but they're really packed in here tonight.
Certainly another tremendous crowd of finishing off a great season of hockey put on by the Blackhawks. Bob Pulford and his forces should be commended for putting together a fine, entertaining brand of hockey.
You're right. Not only do the Hawks win, but they're entertaining every time out, which is not so much the case for some of the better teams. Not as entertaining as the Blackhawks are. Tom McCarthy away from Sutter. Slap shot. Bounces up. Bannerman the save. O'Callahan with a puck. Plays it by Cicerelli onto the stick of Preston. Rink wide for Sutter. Behind him. Puck comes high. Feimster knocks it down. Lysiak gives it to Sutter. And the Hawks are offside. Preston just in over the blue line ahead of the puck.
Don't agree with that call. It was a nice, nifty behind-the-back pass from Lysiak to Sutter. Sutter had a good stride on Rich Preston, and they called Preston offside. Darryl Sutter bidding to score 30 goals this season with 29. First year as captain. Dennis Hull came out with a great line. He said there are more Sutters than there are boys from Brazil.
The Sutter family certainly making their mark in the NHL. Lutzik with the help of Bruce Hood. In front for Fraser. In the corner, back to Crossman. Quick shot! And Mandich almost turned it by Malage. Higgins for Lutzik. Lutzik keeps his balance. That is run into the boards heavily. Mandich and Lutzik behind the net as the puck comes up ice. Losing it is Young. Loose puck in front of the Chicago bench. Lutzik gives it to Higgins. Higgins will circle looking for an opening. Takes a shot and it deflects into the crowd. You talk, Dale, about the Sutters and the potential of the Hawks meeting St. Louis in the first round of the Norris Division playoffs. Team 1 against Team 4 in the final standings. And, of course, you got the brother matchup in Brian and Darryl Sutter. 3:07 left. Second period, 1-0 Chicago. Hawks getting the power play goal early in period 1. 11 penalties called by Bruce Hood in this period. He called 10 in the first period. Both teams playing it at full strength. Here's Crossman ahead to Fraser. He's stopped. Payne stopped by Higgins. Higgins along the boards. Now Giles and Ludwig behind the net. Ludwig keeps his balance, then goes down, gets up. Pass for Fraser, deflects to Fox. Backhand shot knocked down by Higgins. Higgins has an open avenue, comes right in, the backhand shot, and somehow Gilles Melange makes an incredible save on Tim Higgins.
Nifty bit of work by Higgins. Watch this move here to go right through the middle of the box area, right through the middle of the slot. Some good interference work by Ludwig. Higgins goes to the backhand, but Melange had to be fooled by the move. Higgins faked the drop pass. That throws Tim Young. And look at the interference here by Ludwig. And then Giles comes across. Higgins goes to his backhand, but Melange, no room for Higgins to score on the short side.
Doug Wilson, right on. Melange the save again. Now it's Maxwell. 1-0 Blackhawks. Maxwell can't do anything with a puck. Marsh's shot, a stick save by Melange. And Ron Freese just says, let's get it in the air and get it out of our own end. 2:20 to go in the second period. Maxwell intercepts, can't do anything further. Wilson with a pass to Bob Murray, ahead for Gardner. The puck goes off Roberts. He'll play the man. And a shot attempt by Patterson. Then he's dumped by Roberts. And a penalty finally to Gordy Roberts, who that time was really pressing his luck. After fencing a bit with Bill Gardner and veteran Gordy Roberts. 4 seasons of the WHA and his 5th NHL season will glide over to the penalty box.
Definite call right there. Look at this. He's all over Gardner, and then he wrestles Patterson to the ice right here as Patterson tries to get to the rebound.
Now this crowd with Gordy Roberts off, and the North Stars playing a man short, sensing that this could be the time that the Hawks get one by Gilles Melange and take a 2-0 lead. That could be enough of a lead to pick up victory number 46.
The only goal of the hockey game was a power play goal. The 82nd power play goal of the season by the Blackhawks.
Savard with Larmer and Secord, Bob Murray and Wilson on the points. Face off in the Minnesota zone. Here's Bob Murray. Over to Wilson. The 2 All-Stars on defense. Larmer, the great rookie, sees Giles, gives it back to Bob Murray. Secord in front. Savard gets the puck in the far circle from Wilson, lets her go, and it goes just wide. Bob Murray with a lunge keeps the puck in. Ferguson, Eaves, Giles, and Maxwell in front of Melange. Savard has Ferguson spinning around. Wilson the drive, the puck fly off the glass and into the crowd. And the Hawks power play, Dale, all fans will recall 3-4 weeks ago was a bit sluggish, but it seems to be rounding back into form again.
It doesn't take long with so much talent on the team. Secord and Savard and Larmer and Lysak, Preston, Sutter. Sooner or later, things will work themselves out in their power play. They've only scored the 1 goal, but Melange has been sensational in the North Star net. They move the puck so well. As I said earlier in the season, the Blackhawks pass the puck probably better than anyone in the league today.
1-0 Blackhawks. 1:28 to go in period 2. A minute 25 left in Gordy Roberts' penalty. This is one of 5 games tonight in the league. It's the 3rd period at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, and the Penguins leading Montreal 3-2. Out west in the second period, the Winnipeg Jets lead the Kings 3-1, trying to hand LA their 7th straight setback. Larmer. Now Secord. To Larmer. Off the boards for Bob Murray. Over to Doug Wilson. Savard. Oh, look at him play that puck. Savard falls down, no problem, gets back up. Now Bob Murray in from the point, can't stop the puck. And Young bangs it down the ice. A minute to go in the second period. It's been scoreless. 1-0 Chicago. They have the power play. Setting up. Bob Murray. Secord in front with Hartsburg. Savard fans. Here's Larmer avoiding Hartsburg. Back to Bob Murray.
shot.
And Secord trying to get a piece of it as it sails just wide. Eaves goes in ahead of the puck, so Young turns and sends it back to Valashek. And the puck deflects off Larmer into the crowd, and play stopped with only 17 seconds to go in the period and still 14 seconds remaining in the penalty time to Gordy Roberts.
Blackhawks have had control the full time in the Minnesota zone, but their shots on goal have been wide. Their two best opportunities, one by Savard went wide, and that attempt by Doug Wilson went wide. If both of those shots had been on, we would have had a 2-0 lead going into the locker room after 2 periods of play.
Isiak, Preston, and Sutter with Wilson and Crossman. Hawks trying to put the red light on with seconds remaining. It's Broughton against Isiak, the veteran against the youngster. Sutter to Wilson. Here's the shot. Wide. It comes right in front. And Preston plays the puck. Rich Preston turning, looking in front, trying to get it over to Crossman. Sutter put a stick to it, and the fall in front of the net by Melange to smother the puck.
Sutter standing in front, dueling with the rookie. Thought the pass was meant for him, but the pass was intended for Doug Crossman coming in from the point. Intercepted it and never really got a shot away. The puck trickled into the crease. Still plenty of time, though. 6 seconds remaining. Lysiak out there. Now Savard comes out because he's a right-hand shot. They want the face-off to be pulled back towards Doug Wilson. Lysiak, the left-hand shot, would definitely stay out if the face-off was on the other side. All 3 Blackhawk forwards going to set up a wall to interfere with the North Stars as Savard tries to win the drawback.
To Wilson. He hits the post. 2 seconds to go. And the Hawks come so close as Savard fights his way to the puck, sets up Wilson, and he drills it off the right post. That's the end of 40 minutes of play. A score.
No score.
Well, it's anybody's hockey game. Certainly that's how the North Stars feel. The crowd here in the Blackhawks feel that this game belongs to the North Division champions. Ready to go. Bruce Hood, who's kept a tight rein on things, drops the puck. Both teams at full strength. Tom McCarthy, a wicked shot caught by Bannerman. Wilson with a puck, poke check. Then Wilson gets the puck back. He's on with Bob Murray. Dennis Savard, Secord, and Larmer. Puck deflected away by Roberts. Secord jams it into the Minnesota zone. Brad Maxwell back for it. This is Brad Maxwell. Veteran defenseman stopped by Secord. Wilson ahead for Savard. The pass just out of his reach. Savard all over the North Stars player. And to touch the puck first is Minnesota. As Roberts gets back and it's icing against Chicago.
Wilson trying to feed Savard up the middle through the 2 North Stars defensemen, just missed him. The pass was made inside the red line, and the Hawks half of the ice, an icing call to Gordy Roberts. The North Stars nomination for the Bill Masterton Award. Tony Esposito, on the other hand, the Blackhawks nomination for this year's award.
Both of these teams, outstanding road teams, play 500 or better on the road. The North Stars last year were one of only 6 teams in the league to play 500 or better on the road. Oh, these 2 teams really go at it. Another super game tonight, 1-0, Minnesota. Cicerelli to the right of the Chicago net, and Lysiak drives Smith into the boards. Here's Rich Preston, barreling down the wing. Shoots the puck in, then he's upended. Melange plays it along the boards, box up from the point, and the puck goes to Smith, 2-on-2 with Freese. Crossman and Preston back the shot over the net. Bannerman keeps the puck behind the net, makes sure Crossman has it. He's upended. Lysiak steers it by Hartsburg in a race now with Cicerelli. Lysiak avoids the check. Cicerelli from the seat of his pants plays the puck to Valashek, up to Priest, and Sutter back to steal it away. This is Doug Crossman, the crafty Chicago defenseman. The youngster shot just wide. Now it's Steve Payne. North Stars left winger. The pass up for Young. He's off balance. Cicerelli trying to stick handle in center ice. He's tripped. Higgins gets his leg out. Cicerelli is down and he may be hurt. Dino Cicerelli at the center of the rink is hurt. It might be the knee.
sticking his leg out to trip Cicerelli up at center ice, gets a penalty for tripping.
And the Blackhawks will play one-man short.
As a fan club here it is, a tripping that Higgins putting his left knee out to upend Cicerelli. Cicerelli, probably with a Charlie horse, went down. Took him a while to get back up on his feet, but he seems to be going off of his own steam.
He's felt better, obviously, than he does at the moment. Minnesota has the man advantage, trailing 1-0. And the puck drilled into the Minnesota bench, and it skips out into the crowd.
North Star's having a bit of a chuckle. A shot by Bob Murray. Reflected off the back of Mandich, as you see Mandich sitting there describing what happened.
Maxwell. Roberts. Back to Maxwell. In front all alone, Bellows. Now it's Eaves, and he's robbed. Some great effort by Murray Bannerman, who's been tremendous tonight. Rick Patterson killing the penalty with Gardner. Gardner ready to spring loose. And Patterson continues to stick-handle the puck. A one-man show. Wilson on defense with Murray. Playing one of their finest games of the season. Patterson dumps a penalty coming up to Minnesota. Bannerman to the bench. Look at Rick Patterson. Out to Lysiak. The shot. And that hits a player. And as Malage touches the puck, the penalty against the North Stars. You can't say enough about the work by Rick Patterson, often overlooked on this great Blackhawk team.
Tremendous work. You thought that was Dennis Savard out there. He had the puck for a good 35, 40 seconds. Killing it off, making some excellent moves, keeping control, and then finally was yanked down to the ice by Roberts to call a penalty. Hood was right there, an excellent call. To even things up, a penalty apiece in the third period.
A minute 2 remaining in Higgins' penalty, a 2-minute minor to Gordy Roberts. Murray Bannerman has been sensational.
What a save he makes there. Patterson deflects it right to Bellows. Bellows shoots the backhand. The initial save. Rebound squirts loose. Patterson goes down to block the shot to prevent a sure goal. And Gardner comes back to trip up Eaves as he had an attempt at an open net.
Two teams playing 5 aside. 4 skaters in front of the goalie. Sutter, Lysiak, Crossman, and Fox for Chicago. Up the ice is Broughton. Valachek gives the puck to Hartsburg. Hartsburg's pass knocked down by Lysiak with a sweep check. Broughton back to the point. Valachek is shot wide. Along the near boards, McCarthy. He hands it to Lysiak. Waiting for Crossman. 3-on-2. Lysiak to Sutter. The shot. And that's knocked down. Hartsburg behind his own net. Half a minute, Higgins will be back on. Blackhawks will have the power play. And they lead 1-0. Savard scoring at 3:57 in the first period while Chicago had a man advantage. Hartsburg to McCarthy, the shot. And Bannerman just threw on his leg on that one that goes wide. Now it's Fox. Behind the net, Crossman still hassling with McCarthy. And the puck back near the Minnesota net. And Crossman and McCarthy head to their benches. Higgins back on. And the North Stars give the puck right to Higgins. Now it's Bob Murray. Higgins looking to go to the bench. He does. Larmer on with Savard and Secord. Here's Secord. Puck in the corner. Savard will get to it. Savard trying to get around Young. Maxwell banks it off the board. Bob Murray over to Wilson. The shot. A great save. Malage does the splits and gets a stick on it. Bob Murray with a puck. He gets around George Ferguson. He's got Larmer to his right. Back at the point. Now Wilson moves into the center. Secord is in front. Back to boards is Savard, and Wilson shot wide. Hawks, when they've had the power play tonight, have had stupendous pressure. They lead 1-0. Here's Savard. Never really got good control of the puck. 5 seconds. Roberts will be back. Wilson unloads. And a stick save by Malage. Bob Murray wide. And Savard couldn't quite turn it in. The North Stars back at full strength. to go lead the North Stars 1-0. Savard, who has been super tonight, as if he is another night, gets it to Secord, out to O'Callahan. Now Wilson. The pass knocked down by Savard onto Maxwell's stick. Mike Eves with Payne into the Chicago zone, and Hartford's a shot. And that goes just over the crossbar. Farmer chops the puck ahead. Ludwig does a good job with it. Here's Steve Ludwig all alone as the Hawks change players. And Hartford puts an end to the rush by Ludwig. Eves up to Bellows too far. Higgins gives the puck to Ludwig out of his reach. Steve Payne hands it to Fraser. The two teams trying to get organized now. Belichick bumps Fraser down. Ludwig turns away from Hartford. Fraser shot. And Milan just gets his arm out as Fraser came very close to making it 2-0. Here's a chance for Higgins. The shot is scored. Tim Higgins.
Excellent pressure by Ludwig and Fraser. Tremendous work in the corner. Ludwig set up Fraser. Ludwig here. What a nice play. To Higgins. Higgins walks in. The screen shot high to the glove side. In the top corner. An excellent play by Ludwig to set up Tim Higgins. This place going crazy here. Some excellent work. We'll get the angle of it, the goaltender's vision. He had no chance. The wicked shot blown right by. As Mirage couldn't see it to the last second.
Tim Higgins giving Chicago a 2-0 lead with his 13th goal of the year. Bobby Smith for Minnesota. The shot, the save by Bannerman. Now it's Fox. Gets it to center ice. After the goal by Higgins, some fans in the first level draped a huge banner behind Joe Milosh that said, "We sniff a cup." And that's what this crowd is smelling. And the puck goes off Patterson wide of the net on a centering effort by Gardner. Patterson goes down with 3, and the puck held for a faceoff.
So much noise in your whole life. Incredible building, the Chicago Stadium. And the Blackhawks putting on a fine display of the way the game should be played. Great skating, good puck handling, good goaltending. We've had it all in this 8th game between these two Norris Division rivals.
Blackhawks looking like they're well-oiled for the playoffs, which begin 1 week from tonight. And they'll tune up this weekend. 2 matches with a team they'll undoubtedly face in the best-of-5 series. Cicerelli's pass broken up. Freeze battling for the puck, and Crossman has it. Off the boards to Fox. 13:10 to go. Chicago leads Minnesota 2-0. And the play offside as the linesman, Ron Finn, says Patterson brought it back from the neutral zone. It's 2-0 Chicago. Snow State leads DePaul 52-51. DePaul trying to pick up their first NIT championship since 1945. Both teams at full strength, and the puck shot into the Chicago zone. Broughton intercepts. Broughton comes in front, and the puck slides through the goal crease, and Sutter clears it down the ice. Backcourt Giles touching it, icing against the Chicago Blackhawks with 12:40 to go. And Dale, the final meeting of the regular season, the Blackhawks trying to write the last chapter of this sensational 8-game regular season series, and trying to write a chapter that has a great, great finishing touch for the Blackhawks. And what a victory would mean, getting ready for the playoffs and possibly a look at the North Stars in the second round, unless your prognosis and wish for a Toronto victory in the first round over Minnesota comes through. North Stars fighting feverishly, and the puck comes to Sutter with Preston. Broughton hooking Sutter, impedes his shot. Sutter still centers, and then Flett plays it away from Lajette. Bob Murray's shot. McCarthy puts it off the skate of Preston, and it's Bob Murray right through the goal mouth with a pass. Lysiak to Wilson, they shot, and Melange the save. The Hawks have had intense pressure all 3 periods, and the Blackhawks with a 2-0 lead, and the North Stars now just fighting to get the puck out of their own end. Lysiak set up by Wilson. He's got Secord with him. He shoots and scores. And the roof is about ready to blow off this place. 3-0 Blackhawks. And they're going to run the North Stars right out of town.
Lysiak didn't see Secord coming off the bench with 2-on-1. Lysiak just blistering a quick wrist shot by Melange. A similar position to Tim Higgins' 13th goal of the year. Watch this puck dent the mesh here. The quick wrist shot beating Melange high to the glove side.
There it is. The Hawks fans sniffing a cup, and oh, how the Hawks are on fire. Tom Lysiak, goal number 23, and with less than 12 minutes to go, the commanding 3-0 Blackhawk lead. Beamster up to Secord. Oh, the Hawks have played well tonight. Savard, here's the shot. Melange the save. Randy Valachek. And Ferguson gets the puck in. Bannerman leaves it for O'Callahan, and at the last second sweeps it along the boards for Larmer. He can't get loose, and the puck behind the Chicago net. Here's Savard. Boy, has he been inspired tonight. Unwinding. Savard moving towards the goal. Leaves the puck behind the Minnesota net. Secord was tied up, and when Secord couldn't get to it, Bellows clears it to center ice. Here's Hartsburg trying to sidestep Beamster. Knocked down, and with a puck, Savard. He can't clear. Bellows keeps it in. Overskates the puck. A chance now for Smith. The paint cutting in. A quick shot wide. O'Callahan will pick up a penalty for upending Bellows in front of the Chicago net. Melange goes to the bench. Minnesota with an extra attacker. O'Callahan will be going off. Here's Hartsburg for the North Stars. Good move in front. The puck to the corner. Eaves behind the net for Cicerelli. Back to the point. Roberts, a shot deflected by Eaves, and an incredible sliding save by Murray Bannerman. Then the whistle and the penalty against Jack O'Callahan. This crowd chanting, Murray, Murray. Well, the Chicago Bulls have certainly been superb in their last 2 games here. The victory last Saturday over the Celtics, and the incredible win last night over the Philadelphia 76ers. And the Bulls will be back here in stadium action on Friday night against the Atlanta Hawks. Then next Tuesday here at the stadium, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Bulls. Pick up your Bulls tickets in the Bulls office through Ticketron or Peloton, or MasterCard to purchase Bulls NBA tickets. The Hawks with third period goals from Higgins at 5:51 is 13th, and Lysiak is 23rd of the campaign at 8:09 after the first period power play goal from Dennis Savard, and it is 3-0 Chicago.
Toronto Maple Leafs defeating Detroit Red Wings to pull ahead of Minnesota by 3 points for that 3rd spot in the North Division.
Toronto now 66 points with 2 games left against Philadelphia and Buffalo. 3rd in the North Division. St. Louis is 4th, 63 points. The 2 games this weekend with Chicago. So it looks like Toronto will finish 3rd. And Brock trips up the Chicago player Gardner. And Brock will get a penalty. Both teams will be a man short.
You can see why Murray Oliver doesn't really appreciate being a head coach. When players do something like that, that's the 3rd time that the North Stars have done that. They've had the man advantage and they've taken a penalty while having the man advantage. Taking a penalty deep in their own zone behind the net.
Neil Broughton joins Jack O'Callahan in the penalty box. Murray Oliver chomping away on the gum behind his North Stars. So it looks like, barring some in the remaining few days of the season. Then it'll be the Blackhawks against the Blues a week from tonight in Game 1 of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs as Melange grabs that puck gliding through the air and holds it for a face-off. Now only 10 minutes to go in the game.
Blackhawks not giving up a goal. The last 50 minutes of play at home, 60 minutes on Sunday, 110 minutes, 130 minutes. They haven't given up a goal.
Smith with McCarthy, Maxwell, and Roberts. Both teams playing a man short. Into the slot for Maxwell. He pokes the puck ahead. It goes weakly wide. Wilson ties up Smith, and Bob Murray throws in a little shove, and the faceoff will be near Murray Bannerman.
Look at Doug Wilson tying up Bobby Smith, two former stars in the Ontario Junior Hockey League with Ottawa 67's junior team.
Blackhawks trying to blank Minnesota, which would kind of be the icing on the cake in the final meeting of the regular season. Trying to make it 5 shutouts of Bose this season in the first 78 games. And they said that the shutout was gone from the NHL. Gordy Roberts. Up to McCarthy. Tom McCarthy. To Smith. And the puck off the glass back to center ice. Here's Maxwell with it. 9:15 to go. Both teams playing a man short for just about a minute. 3-0 Chicago. Dino Cicerelli with Bobby Smith. The shot off Bannerman and off the side of the goalpost. Bobby Smith looking to center, and it deflects off Roberts out to the neutral area. Gordy Roberts with a puck, leaves it for Craig Hartsburg, the Stars captain, and Preston intercepts. Preston with Lysiak, Fox, and Crossman. Fox shoots it in. Bouncing puck knocked down by Melange. Blackhawks make a wholesale player change. 20 seconds, and O'Callahan will be back on. 11 seconds after that, Broughton will return to the ice. Hartsburg, long shot, lost wide of the net. Glove by Bannerman, quickly ahead for Fraser. By him, Hartsburg keeps it into Cicerelli. Now a chance for Cicerelli again on the feed from Belichick. And Beaster will pick up a penalty for holding Dino Cicerelli. That's the second time Beamster will pick up a penalty for an infraction against the much-hated Dino Cicerelli.
Again, Hood calling everything. Cicerelli really, in the Chicago fans' bad books, hasn't really... Good penalty call there by Hood, though. Beamster was draped all over Cicerelli.
Really not that much for Dino Cicerelli to be smiling about. His team down by 3 goals, losing last night at home. They've won only once in their last 5 road games. Their last game of the season will be this weekend in Los Angeles against the Kings, who have pretty well packed their bags for Florida. So the North Stars, going into L.A., assuming they lose this one, will really have to fight and claw to pick up a win on the road to get that road winning feeling back before they go into the playoffs, probably against Toronto in the first round.
Exactly right. You can't turn it off and on like a tap. You've got to have momentum going into the playoffs. The Blackhawks obviously have some momentum going, finishing off the season playing so well defensively. Ever since that second period in Vancouver, they've totally dominated their opponents. They played so well in Vancouver in the second and third periods.
That 3-goal surge last Friday night against the Canucks to earn a 3-3 tie really has turned it around for the Blackhawks. They have played superb since then and have totally held off their opponents. So Callahan back on, and an extra pass in front, maybe one too many by Mike Eaves. Here's Lysiak. 8:05 left. Chicago 1 man short. Beamster in the penalty box, serving the holding penalty. And the Hawks really in the driver's seat now. Less than 8 minutes remaining, leading 3-0. Trying to notch their 46th victory of the year. Cicerelli hits the side of the net. And Preston backhands the puck down the ice. North Stars power to Broughton. The Hawks standing up at the blue line. Cicerelli bumped by Preston. Broughton at the point for Cicerelli in front. The puck goes off the shoulder of Bellows. The crowd reacting as Wilson kind of smushed Cicerelli into the ice. Boy, the crowd forgetting the puck when Cicerelli's on the ice. They just follow number 20. Both teams changing players. 7 minutes remaining. Only one more regular season game after this one here at the stadium. That's Sunday night. And then it's the charge to the Stanley Cup. And again, the Hawks stop the North Stars power play. 21 seconds. Beamster will be back on. Brad Maxwell out of his own zone leads the Minnesota rush. And offside is Payne on the left wing. And the whistle stops play here in the third period with 6:35 to go.
That time, the Hawk defense crew standing up the blue line, forcing Maxwell to make his move outside the blue line, and that put the North Stars offside. Blackhawks in the first two periods killed off 6 penalties, 3 in the first, 3 in the second. This is their third penalty of the third period.
Will Dr. William Craver please go to game 2 immediately?
Blackhawks with a victory tonight will have 102 points.
The North Stars in 44 games on Chicago Stadium ice have only mustered up 7 wins and 5 ties, 32 losses. Overall, in 89 games played, the two teams in their history, Blackhawks hold a commanding lead, 53 victories, 26 losses, and 10 ties.
And that home ice domination the Hawks have had is certainly important. The save by Bannerman on McCarthy. Loose puck, and it's swept under Bannerman by his teammate Rick Patterson. And again, Murray Bannerman bringing the crowd to its feet.
Bannerman making the initial save on the low, hard shot. Went to clear the rebound. He and Patterson overskated it. There's the initial save. The puck squirts loose. Bannerman comes out. He fans on it. And then pulls the puck back in right here as Patterson aids him to smother the puck.
Smith wins the draw. Maxwell shot, and again, Murray Bannerman makes the save. He's been outstanding. He's got to really have frustrated the North Stars. We point out how well the Hawks have played tonight, Dale, and it has only been here in the third period they've really been able to get a good jump on the North Stars, which is much to the Stars' credit. They are an outstanding team, and they have played very well tonight.
Excellent hockey game, end-to-end action. The goaltending has been just outstanding. Milosh has had to come up with a lot of big stops, especially in the first period. Bannerman was the story in the start of the second period. Then the Hawks came on. Good goaltending has a tendency to do that, to pick you up after a while when you let down. And again in the third period, he's been outstanding.
Maxwell has shot the save, and the rebound effort goes just wide. Roberts at the point after Payne was all around Bannerman, who makes another save with Smith and McCarthy there. And you see Bannerman taking exception with Bobby Smith. And Bannerman will shake his hand. He's over in the corner. He got a whack on that left gloved hand. And he certainly wasn't happy about it at all.
North Stars were draped all over Bannerman in the crease. Just couldn't put it by him. There's the empty net that was just missed. The pile-up in the crease. Bannerman on the bottom. You see Payne there with Bob Murray. After he picks the puck up and freezes it, watch him get up. Now he's a little upset with Bobby Smith. He turns around and then skates off to the corner to cool off.
6 minutes, 4 seconds. That's all that's left as the Hawks have a 3-0 lead. Teams at full strength now. North Stars forcing the play. Ferguson looking to center. Can't. Savard, a good job on George Ferguson. And a face-off upcoming in the Chicago zone. Now let's go back to our Sports Vision studios and an NIT update with Dick Gunson. From the face-off, the puck comes high. And the face-off with another whistle will come back near the Chicago net with 5:42 to go. The Blackhawks scoring 3 more goals tonight. Now just 5 goals away from a new club record for most goals scored in a season. The current record, 332 goals scored a season ago. Court to Larmer. He's tripped. Giles will get a penalty. Steve Larmer, who has scored 41 of the Blackhawks goals this season, upended, and the North Stars down 3-0 with time running out will have to play shorthanded. Again, we remind you, 2 Blackhawk games coming up this weekend. Saturday night from the Checker Dome in St. Louis. The Blackhawks and the Blues. Then Sunday, the season, the regular portion concludes here at the stadium. Again, Chicago and St. Louis. And each and every Blackhawk playoff game, home and away, will be seen here on Sports Vision. So you will see the Blackhawks from now until they sip out of the cup or they head home for the summer. Boy, it's just getting to be fun now. As if we haven't had a great time already.
It's all about the playoffs. That's when you're playing for your own money. Those paychecks stop the last game. It's a long time in between paychecks if you don't have a good long playoff.
Now Mysiak with a goal tonight is 23rd. Tim Higgins is 13th. Those two scoring here in the third period. It was a scoreless second period. Dennis Savard scored a power play goal in the first period. His 34th goal of the year. The puck comes loose, and Seacourt can't quite get it from Hartford. North Stars playing shorthanded. Giles off for tripping at 14:27. The Blackhawks out shooting Minnesota in each of the first 2 periods. They have decidedly won this final meeting of the regular season, and the whistle is the Hawks are offside.
Blackhawks would like to use up the full 2 minutes on the power play to get that 4th goal of the hockey game to kill the clock. I'm sure they're not going to get too greedy. They're going to be very cautious on this power play. They don't want to give up a shorthanded goal.
Mysiak against Young. Back to Valachek. Ices the puck or clears it away down the ice. Crossman to Wilson, over to Mysiak with a bouncing puck. He zigzags through center ice to feed to Wilson, the high pass, and Hartsburg plays it to center. Sutter with it now. A good move around Hartsburg. Darryl Sutter, the shot, he scores! What a play by Darryl Sutter!
Sutter making it all possible in his own effort. A great move on Hartsburg at the blue line. He went wide on the left wing. Balash played the angle very poorly. He had all kinds of room, Sutter did, on the glove side. This doesn't even go to the corner. It almost goes into the middle of the net. Look how far to the right Balash is. There's the move right there at the blue line. Now look how far over to the right. His angle. He misplays the angle, giving Sutter all kinds of room.
Players with 20 goals or more this season, and now 4 Blackhawk players with 30 or more. Sutter, Savard, Larmer, and Seacourt, each with a better than a 30-goal season as Lysiak intercepts. Coming back, Roberts, the shot, and the glove saved by Malash, and certainly Lysiak going to school on Sutter. But the angle played much better that time by Gilles Malash. Maxwell shoots the puck in. The Hawks lead at 4-0. They have 2 power play goals and now only 4 minutes to go. Oh, what a sweet win this will be tonight for the Blackhawks. Brott stopped by Fraser. Lysiak just flips the puck back to the Minnesota zone. Hawks will get a chance to change players with the icing against Chicago. Fresno State tonight defeats DePaul at Madison Square Garden 6-1. State the last few years has been a powerhouse out west. Not their best season this year, but they come through when it counts. And a sad, sad loss for the DePaul Demons, Blue Demons, as the Blue Demons trying to win the NIT for the first time since 1945. Again, 69-60, Fresno State beats DePaul, and Dick Konski will have all the details after this Blackhawk Minnesota North Star telecast from the stadium.
These Blackhawk fans are having a ball now with 3:39 remaining, singing, having a grand old time in this grand old building, the Chicago Stadium.
It's been quite a celebration tonight. Anticipation of a great game. O'Callahan mixing it up with Freese, as Freese gave O'Callahan an extra bump after he passed the puck away behind the net. Freese pretty good with the right hand after taking some hammer shots from O'Callahan, and O'Callahan comes back. Well, you pointed out all year, Dale, why Ron Freese is with his Minnesota club. I'll tell you, he had that right arm welling like it was on a rubber band with maybe a machine at the back end. O'Callahan still yelling at Freese.
That's the first battle we've seen Freese win in all the events he's been involved with.
Freese certainly not going off unscathed, but definitely going off.
That's only the second fight of the hockey game. We had one in the first period. Roberts and Preston, the culprits. And towards the end of the hockey game, Freese all over O'Callahan. O'Callahan took exception, got his stick up, dropped his gloves, hammered him a couple, and then Freese started to take over towards the end of the battle.
3:26 to go, 4-0 Chicago. You can say all you want, Dale, how nice it would be if Toronto would upset Minnesota in the first round of the playoffs and give the Hawks a shot at Toronto in round 2, but boy, it would be something to miss a 7-game series between these two teams in the playoffs.
Here we go. Round 2. Freese jabbing away with the right hand.
Number 31.
Callahan after he grabs his helmet off. So this is a good shot right here.
2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct and 5 minutes for fighting.
Gross misconduct for pulling hair. That's a rule. Savard got that same penalty.
O'Callahan, 2 minutes for slashing, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct, and 5 minutes for fighting.
O'Callahan trying to play the true Blackhawk, trying to scalp Freese, but nothing doing. Orville Tessier, who has clearly said all year long, we'll be tough, we'll be rough, we'll fight when we have to. But basically, we're a hockey team, and we're going to show people around the NHL that we're a superb hockey team. And certainly, this Blackhawk team of 1982-83, first season under Orville Tessier after a season in the American Hockey League and a successful coaching career in the junior ranks in Canada, has definitely come through and played some of the best hockey seen in many, many years in these parts.
Freese and O'Callahan each getting 9 minutes in penalties. Now that runs the total of tonight's penalties to 30 penalties in the contest.
Here's Doug Crossman. Puck knocked down by Giles. Time is really all that's important now. A 4-goal Chicago lead. Fraser deflects the puck in. Secord bumps Giles. Here's Bobby Smith with Brian Bellows trying to get through Fox. He can't. And look at Crossman so patiently getting the puck ahead and out of his own zone. Giles with Mandich, McCarthy, Bellows, and Smith. Both teams playing at full strength. Fox ahead to Fraser, coming in on the left wing. Scored! 5-0.
All the Blackhawks shooting towards Gilles Meloche's glove hand. Obviously, they've spotted a weakness. 4 of the goals in this period have all been scored on the glove side. Fraser walks in, beats Meloche. I think it went in off the inside of his left pad. But Meloche obviously having difficulty with his angles. Look how far to the right he is again. That beat him on the glove side. It went between the glove and the pad. 4 straight shots on that side.
Stars here in the last of 8 regular season meetings. Eaves has the puck chopped away by Marsh. Douglas shoots the puck in, and then he's drilled by Bob Murray. Wilson up to Marsh. He's hit by Hartsburg. Gardner with a puck to Wilson. Wilson with a good effort. This puts the puck behind the Minnesota net. Just over 2 minutes remaining. 5-0 Chicago. More, I'm sure, than anyone here tonight could have expected. It has been all Blackhawks. Here's Patterson, who's played extremely well when given the opportunity tonight, leaving the puck for a surprise Gardner. Jordy Douglas flips it in. The puck ends up near the Chicago net. 1:40 remaining. This crowd ready, without a doubt, for the Stanley Cup playoffs. And they're cheering on Murray Bannerman, who's played one of his finest games of the season. Peter Marsh with a puck off the glass down the ice. Preston races after it with Roberts. Roberts showing his strength, touches the puck first, and with 1:21 to go, an icing call against the Blackhawks. Higgins, Lysiak, Sutter, and Fraser have all scored for Orville Tessier's Hawks in the final period. Fox the assist on Fraser's 12th goal of the campaign at 17:15. They're in the far reaches of Chicago Stadium enjoying this hockey game between the Hawks and the North Stars.
Blackhawks adding some salt into the wounds of the North Stars, suffering that upset. Dick lost last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-2, and coming in here tonight and getting pummeled 5-0.
Two teams with 22 losses, so Minnesota will go into their final game of the season on the road at L.A. with 23 setbacks. Hawks have won 5 more times. Now tonight, 6 more times in Minnesota as Sutter is offside. Lysiak carrying the puck in, and now just 1 minute and 11 seconds to go.
Tom Lysiak with that excellent wrist shot beating Mirage gives the Blackhawks a 3-0 lead. Has scored 9 points in his last 9 hockey games on 4 goals and 5 assists. And a healthy Tom Lysiak means success for the Blackhawks in the playoffs.
1:05 left. Boy, there's nothing like a hockey crowd here in Chicago. This is one of the happiest moments of the season as the Hawks really show the North Stars which team is the best in the Norris division. The Norris champion Blackhawks. North Stars keep the puck in. 40 seconds to go. Crowd unhappy as Beamster's upended. Sutter overskates the puck, and Cicerelli has it. That brings the Bluebirds to a full chorus. Beamster misses Cicerelli, and Sutter gets the puck to Secord. He's stopped. Here's Cicerelli again. On to McCarthy. 15 seconds left. Crossman. Now the entire crowd standing to a man. 6 seconds to go. Listen to this vocal chorus. The opposition for a total